What is going on, guys? Welcome to a new video on the channel. We have quite a fun piece today. We've got this quite big, large A4 kind of sized fake skin, and on it is stenciled an alien, a tattooed alien, which I designed a few months back. I know Mashko, is it Mashko or Mashko? He's made this kind of style of, concept of tattoo quite famous with his graffiti, like his colour portraits with the graffiti over it. But I like the tattooed kind of style. So I guess it's the same kind of concept, but it is my own style, I guess. My kind of spin on things. But yeah, I'm gonna go through this this tattoo today. The stencil's held up really well, to be fair. You can see it's kind of smudging a bit, but I can't remember his name, but someone on Instagram, I'll probably tag it in the description. Basically, instead of using, the way I stenciled this, instead of using this anchored, which is what I normally use on skin, I've used the gel type deodorant stick. So I've just gone like this, made it nice and even all the way along, and then gone this way with it as well. Just made sure there's no gaps, put it up to the light kind of thing, made sure there's no gaps, and then just stencil on, made sure it's all sticks. And the thing with this is, when you get stencil paper, this is kind of more, it's kind of like, this kind of sticks a tiny bit more than this. This is super, like, you have to be really careful because it's really easy to like move around and squirm around because it doesn't stick to the fake skin, as well as obviously it being tacky on human skin. So this just kind of makes it a bit easier because it kind of like tacks it to the fake skin. And then I've just gone over with a hairdryer 2 centimeters from the fake skin, and just probably about 20 minutes just on high heat, just made sure it's all nice and dry. And then I've left it for a couple of hours, and now this is what it is. So yeah, it's pretty dry. This isn't going to budge, to be honest, so it seems pretty good. I've got my ink set up here, so you can just see that in the corner of the camera. I'll just put it down a tiny bit more so you can see that. So hopefully you can see this side of the screen is tattoo and this side of the screen is my ink up. It's quite hard to get it all on one screen without, having to maneuver my hand a lot, which is probably what I'm going to do. So I'll probably end up over here during the tattoo, but I'll try and keep it on screen as much as I can to make it nice. Today's machines, we're using the Bishop 1 Packer, which is a 4.2 stroke with the Bishop battery, the B charged battery, which I am running at 6.5 volts. You can see that just as it, well, you can't really see that at all because it's flashing, but it's 6.5 volts on that one. And I'm going to be trying a new kind of technique with this because I've seen a lot of artists use this kind of stroke, this level of stroke, like a 4 stroke or a 4.2 stroke for dark tones and medium tones. And then for my light tones, I'm going to be using this wand Packer. And this is going to be at 8.3 to 8.2 volts. You can see that there. And this is using the critical battery on this one. I will probably get another one of these, but obviously money, So yes, I'll have be charged on both of them, but this is what I'm going to be using for dark tones and medium tones, and then this is going to be used for the lighter tones, the shading. So let's get on with it. So my inks I'm going to be using today will be the dynamic black, the normal black, and then I've got the triple black over here, the triple black, dynamic triple black, for my solid blacks, and then this is just for my mid-tone and my grey washes. And then I'm going to be using the mixing solution by Dynamic as well to mix them together and dilute them down. So yeah, let's grab some gloves and head on to putting my my inks out for you guys. So I just put some gloves on so my hands stay protected by the smudge of the ink. But yeah, cheers please smash a like on the video, guys. Please subscribe if you're new. I will if there's 1,000 likes on this video, I will release this stencil for you guys to try yourself. 1,000 likes, that's probably a new record. I'm just gonna grab some tissue real quick. Like so. Just check a couple of bits off. The football is in the background because watching the Spurs and Leeds game. Hopefully Spurs loses because, you know, top 4 and all that. But that's another story. It's for another time. So I'm just gonna I'm probably gonna go from dark, so black here, up to the light tone here. So we'll figure that out as we go. Normally I have it across, but for you guys, I wanted to get it on the screen, so I've gone vertical this time. So triple black, fill that all the way to the top, like that. Lee's nearly scored. And then we've got the normal black, normal dynamic black, see by the top. Give that a shake as well. And this is the way I set my inks up every single time. Oh, I've just actually pulled the whole lid off. That would have been disastrous. So this cup I do half full, just over half. And then I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then 6, so half, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then half again, 3, and then 1. And that is my ink drop setup. And then the 3 ones across here are my rinse cups. So I'll rinse it then rinse it again, then rinse it again, and then I know it's clean. I'll just fill these ink caps up to the top with the diluting liquid. Boom. Probably try and get them all the same kind of size, so I know it's even. Like that. Probably gonna knock these over. That is what it is. And let's start, man. We've got some needles out as well. Let's have a look at the needle selection. Erection selection. So we've got the Da Vinci V2s today. We've got the 10 gauge 11 curve mag long taper. So this is a bug pin because it's a 10 gauge. You can see that. If you can see that. There we go. Yeah. So this is what it is. So we've got a curve mag, 11 curve mag. And we've got the 7 curve mag. So this is a smaller mag for the smaller details. This is again a 10 gauge because it says 1007 curve mag long taper. And then we've got the 12 here as well, which is a standard gauge, which is a 0.35 gauge. And that's a 7 round shader long taper. So this is the 7 round shader, which I'll probably be doing for the tattoos and stuff like that. So I'll just do that again, and we will go along and go through it. I'm just going to do that like so. So what I'm going to do is start out by doing the tattoo here and the outsider sort of thing here. So we'll use the packer for this at the rate of 6.5 volts. Cool. So I'm going to be using a shader for the start, I think. 7 round shader. I might jump to a 5 round liner, but we'll see what happens. See how we go. This is my depth. You can see that. If you can see that. So it's not that far out, but it is quite far out. But it just having it hang. There you go. You can see that perfectly there. Having it hang out a bit further than you normally would, just as long as the ink flow is good, that's what you have to look for, ink flow. As long as the ink flow is nice, you just got way more control over the needle. So let's go. Start by doing this outside a bit here first. We'll just line this out first. So just tip the so dip the tip of the ink in, just the tip like this. Don't go crazy with it. Tuck the bottom so there's no pools of ink coming out, so it's nice and clean. And we'll just go straight in with it. Dab, dab, dab. Go a bit deeper, a bit slower. Might use a thinner needle to be fair, but at the minute it's going all right. So we'll just zoom you in to this part. This is all just going to be solid black, so you don't need to see the ink bits. If I can figure this out. There we go, like that. It's better, isn't it? I'll just tap this bit there. There we go. See what I'm doing then. Super, super slow. You want to pack that right into this ink, this skin, sorry. Bit deeper. Double pass it, make sure it's nice and solid in there. I've just packed some tissue behind this as well, just to add a bit more sponginess to it, just so it feels a bit more realistic. And the way to line in on fake skin is really slow, consistent hand speed, like that. You can see it's super, super solid. I don't tend to put the machine at a 45-degree angle like this. I kind of have it upright like this, so I know my depth. I can see my needle very clearly. And you're just pulling it through. Just keeping it super consistent, which is the number one thing really when lining. Really consistent, slow hand speed. Spurs have scored, great. Just do that a bit again. And we're just gonna fill this in. I might even use a small mag to fill this in, so I'll probably go to the 7 curve mag, sorry. Here we go. We'll just fill this in here. So the way I like to fill things in is to just small circular motions. Making sure you get up to the line. Just moving slowly. Don't stay in one place too much because you'll end up screwing the skin up. Just dab, dab, dab. Manipulate the needle as well. Spin your machine around so you can get into small areas. If you want to try this stencil out, make sure you smash a like on the video, guys. I'm just going to go up a bit like that to just sharpen that part up. Normally do that with a thinner needle. Again, I'm not pushing the needle all the way in. Slowly going through with it. Hovering it, keeping one depth, same depth. feather it in as well. This packer machine really does pack this ink into here. It's the O done, pretty much, without looking at it. Right now I'm going to switch to, I'm actually just going to use a 5-round liner, I think, so I'm going to get one of them out. Now I'll use a 7-round liner. 7-round liner, which is basically a 5 because it's a 5 standard gauge, because it's a bug pin again. It's a 10 gauge, you can see that here. 7-round liner. Instead of the shade, it's going to be a tighter needle, so it'll be a bit more precise. Just make sure this is all nice and sharp and in. Like that. Right, we'll do the U now. Again, find your depth and move the machine. Nice, steady hand speed. And don't go too deep because you will split this skin, which is quite a good exercise. That's a lot better. Which is quite a good exercise for this because it will mean that you're going too deep in human skin. Find your depth and then move the machine. You probably go a tiny bit slower on fake skin as well, just to really pack it in. I'm getting right down with my eyes, really watching that needle. Precision is everything. Just going to use this needle to, just going to stipple this, sort of pack and stipple this in as we go. You can do this as well. Obviously it's not as good as packing it in with a mag, but got a couple more passes with this technique. If you're moving the needle fast, you're not chewing it up too much, which is why a lot of makeup artists will be semi-permanent makeup will be using this technique to fill these bits in as well, to pack that lip blush in or whatever. Use this technique. The pendulum brush motion, layering that ink up. Wow, it's 2 now. This is crazy. There we go, that's the U. Go on to the T now. I'll probably use that technique. I feel that's a nice technique to use. What I'm going to do as well is just, the way I'm going to clean this skin is directly with some washing up liquid, straight on like that. Just rub it round. It's really, really so much better than using your wash cup. Just wipe straight off. You can see that now, it's super clean. Yeah. Just slow and steady wins the race, really. Just making sure you get every part filled up. O-U-T. So we've gone to the T now. This might be a couple of videos, so if you do like this this series, let me know, because I'll do the first hour like this. We can go through with each individual straight into the S here. Yeah, the more likes I get, basically, the more support. I know that you guys want to see the next video, the next series. Next video out on this. And like I said earlier, if you do like the video, if I get 1,000 likes, then I will release this for you guys to try at home. Go straight into the S, sorry. It does. Nice and slow, hand speed. Pack that right in there. Find your depth and move. Keeping the same consistent hand speed. It's definitely a lot harder on fake skin than it is in real skin. But yeah, this skin is called real skin. REEL, and it is the best skin out there, in my opinion. Just be the first hour I'll be just going through all this, showing you the techniques that I'll use, and I'll use exactly the same techniques that I'll use here on real life skin, human skin. Just feathering this in now, creating layers, and then giving it a wipe, seeing which bits I can go back over, which I haven't gone into or hasn't saturated it enough. And the packer just packs that in. Just going to use the mag. Just feel like with this machine on fake skin, it's a bit, just packs it a bit more, so I'll just turn it to the side slightly. You can layer the fake skin up as well. It doesn't chew it up as much as it would on human skin. So just bear that in mind when you're going over it and over it. You'll see how saturated it is and how dark it is. When you come to tattoo human skin, you know when it's good. Small little circles, just moving slowly down. Turn the needle, get in here. Right up to the line. Yeah, it's a lot better with the mag. Hell of a lot better with the mag. Especially at this lower voltage. Doesn't harm the skin too much. Low volt gang. Thomas Carly Harlier, low volt gang. Make sure go right up to this line. As you start to wipe it as well, you can see which bits you've missed, so just go back over them. There we go. Now we'll switch back to the liner. Just push this up a bit so you can see, guys. I think I'm still with the black. This is a got a bit of a crease in, so Might have to do a couple of passes over these lines. Just make sure they're solid, like that. Shout out to Ukraine as well. It's been heartbreaking to see that happening over there, so I do wish Ukraine all the best. I don't think it's going to stop at Ukraine though. But enough about that. Spin a needle around, get in here, match the kind of. I always like look at the line and see where the line's going. So if it's like this, I'll spin it, and then when it's round here, I'll spin it like this so it matches where it is, like the angle of the line, so I can know and get right up into there, like that. It's looking good so far, it's looking solid, it's cool. Right, switch back to the 7 round liner again. Now this goes like this. I'm just going to spin this over so you can see this. Just going to pop the ink up and over like this. There you go. Find your depth and move. Come out, find your depth, move. Commit to one line. Find your depth, move again. Here we go, find your depth, move. Find your depth, move. Find your depth, move. Slow, consistent hand speed. Now the middle of this is just rubbed off. So we'll try and make sure this is straight as possible. This just comes through here as well. Comes out a bit more here. Get my mag out again. I'm just keeping the same voltage, guys. We are keeping the same voltage here. So again, I'm matching the angle of the line. Small circular motions, don't leave it in one spot too long. Again, matching the line. Spinning my needle around. I can kind of do this like that as well. Slowly spin it round again to attack this section. Spin it round again. Get into that corner. Spin. Like that. Smashing this through now. Getting back in with the I think I've got a 9 curve 9 round shader, so I'll probably use that for the thick lines here. 3-0 to Spurs, wow. Harry Kane is on fire at the minute. There we go. Hopefully you can see this, guys. Hopefully you can, you're following along nice. Again, it is only black ink, solid black ink, which is a triple black, so I'm gonna fill this in like this, around here, because it's incredibly tight. Always match your needles, needle size and to the part you're doing. So I wouldn't use a 11 curve mag or something in something this small. This is a 9 curve mag, but it's a tight one because it's a bug pin. So just make it easier for yourself. You know, work with smaller needles in smaller places. Again, turn the needle to the angle. Slowly turn it back if you want. Just carry on going down in one motion. Just packs it in. Make sure we get right up to the line. And the art is getting up to the line and not going over it. So, right now, let's do the R. Find your needle, depth, move, commit to the line. Can I do this whole one in one line? No, because I can't see coming back up. But it's alright, find your needle depth, come round. And down. Literally just using the corner, so I'm angling it instead of straight. I'm angling like this to just get the corner. Just doing this part. This is where you really have to know your needles. But it's all good practice. It's the same with tattooing on human skin, really. Same techniques, you use them. Same processes. Change the needle angle to get right up to this. It's almost like using a calligraphy pen. Sort of keep the pen in one position, you know. Just give that a good wipe down. Just go into this part here. I can see I haven't got marks that line. It is quite hard. Just angle it in a way you can get around the curve. Like that. Let's get some more fairy liquid on. Washing up liquid and just give it a rub like that. And just wipe it off. That looks pretty good to me. I'll keep that like that. I like it. It's sharp, consistent. This stencil is not budging. That is definitely the best stencil way to put stencil on fake skin. So again, straight with the black, I'm going to be using, I'm going to just see if I've got a 9. I'm going to use a thicker needle for this. Yeah, I've got a 9 round liner here. This is the last one I've got, which is highly annoying. So I do use them a lot. I'm just going to use a 9 round liner, so I'm going to be using that on the rose here, on this alien's shoulder. Just go through and line these parts up. So again, find your this is again solid black. Find your depth, move, Nice, consistent speed. Did that even go in? That is the thing. I'm actually just going to swap to this shader and just see if it's actually better. Because there is one thing about the Packer, is I just do prefer the shader when I'm doing lines like this. And I'm not too sure why, because the Packer is basically 4-lining, but I think it's just what I'm used to. Use a shader here. I'm not entirely sure. Not entirely sure, but again, find your depth, move. You'll have to do a couple of passes on these lines, I think. And fake skin. And where the stencil's not rubbing off, you can't really see it through the stencil. So you just got to go by eye and as much I think I do prefer this. The lining on fake skin for sure. It's definitely definitely just packs a bit more of a punch. Well, not really, but it kind of just packs more ink in to the skin. Fake skin. On human skin, it would be slightly different. Find your depth, move. I'm gonna go double pass on this. Forward and then back. I'm going to slow my hand speed down even more to really pack this ink in. And I've got to go double pass on every line really to make it nice and consistent. You wouldn't have to do this on human skin. It makes you get used to your hand techniques anyway. Double lining it, going back over the line, making sure it's nice and crisp, going straight back into exactly where you did it. Otherwise, you're going to get inconsistent lines. Some fat parts, some not fat, some thin. You know, you've not gone straight back into it. Solid. Right, let's do this part down here. Just going over these lines again. Make sure we've gone into exactly the same part. It's very hard to see though. Woo, make me sweat. It's making me sweat. Hope you're enjoying the video, guys. I'm just still using the solid black. Please smash that like button if you do want to see part 2 and you want me to release this stencil for you guys. I'll make a download link. 1,000 likes and you can have it. You can follow this video along. Find your depth, move, keeping it the same speed all the way. Find your depth, move. Find your depth, move. Slow, consistent speed, hover that depth. Keep the depth the same. It's looking good now. Getting into the flow of things now. Find your depth, move. Find your depth, move. As I come to do the point, I just pull out. That's what she said. I just pull it out as I come to the end of the line, just to really create the point. Not too early though, otherwise you're gonna be left with you've got a nice point there. Find your depth, move. Right up to the line. Find your depth, move. It was vibrating. Just can't see the line. She be vibrating. I'm just gonna spin it around a bit more, just so it's a bit easier for me. Find your depth, move. Slow consistency, pull it up towards the ends, bang. Find your depth, move, pull it out towards the end, not too early, that's what she said, and you got nice sharp end. ink flow is a tiny bit inconsistent there, which suggests either the end of this is clogged up a bit, or I need to pull my needle just a touch back. Sorry for keep knocking the camera. That's better. Fucking hell. Spilled every bit of ink, which is hilarious. I'm not even going to use that yet. Find your depth, move. Nice, slow, steady hand speed. Find your depth, move. Nice, slow, steady hand speed. Keep thinking about that. That's the hardest, number one thing most beginners get wrong, is inconsistent hand speed. Recently taught my girlfriend to the ways of tattooing, and the inconsistency in her hand speed was what I kept noticing all the time, and it was just inconsistent results. But it's something we all go through, you know, something we just have to get drummed into us. So every line I do, find your depth, move, consistent. Find your depth, move, consistent. Find your depth, move, consistent. And you'll get a nice clean tattoo, clean line, clean shading. I like that. It's quite nice. Bit of an inconsistent line here, so I'll just go back over that. Cool. Right, let's move on to the next shoulder. So we'll go over here now. Then we've got a nice black X in the middle as well. So, let's do this part, that part, that part. Find your depth, move, consistent. Find your depth, move, consistent. Find your depth, move, consistent. I'm going to do that whole petal there, as long as the ink doesn't run out. All the way around. See how inconsistent that line was? Go back into the inconsistent parts. It's no big if you have to go back into it. It is fake skin, after all. Make sure you keep cleaning your end of your needle. Slow my hand speed down. Take this fucking shit out. To be honest, see what this is saying instead, because it's just it's not really going in too well. You can see this is way more inconsistent than the other leaves, which is annoying, but they are going to be quite dark. You can definitely feel that a lot more harsher now. You can feel the kickback. Yeah, it's a lot better without the stuff underneath. You can actually feel when it's going a bit too deep as well. It just kicks back. Make sure I'm not going straight through it. Make sure I'm not cutting the skin either, which I'm not, so it's good. It's good to go. It's probably better without, yeah. As I say, an hour in. Yeah, it's a lot better. It's a lot better without that. Just gonna go back over this now. Make it a bit more consistent here. A bit more of a thicker line here as well. Yeah, hell of a lot better. I think as that was just different, what's the word? Because it was quite spongy, it was just reacting different. Just ran out of ink there. It's reacting inconsistent with as I was tattooing, so it was just getting a bit, some parts were strong, some parts weren't. It was highly annoying, and I was thinking, what? I'm staying the same depth. Didn't make sense, you know? Sweet. Right, let's give it a wipe down, see what's going on. Cool. It's looking good to me so far. It's looking good to me so far. Hell yeah, boy. I like it. I like it. It's consistent. It's clean. Just go back over this part. Like that. Just gonna do this X now. Keep knocking the camera with my glasses as I'm coming in. Just making sure I'm not cutting it. If you go too deep, you'll cut the skin and it'll make it look crap. Bring this down a tiny bit. Get these little drips in there as well. dot there. Right, okay, so after this we'll get the 7 curve mag out and start filling this in. Probably way more easier without the tissue underneath. But it's all good, we're learning still. I'm actually just going to use, again, like I said earlier, use the right size needle for the right size piece you're doing. So I'm just going to go up a needle. I'm not going to use the 9 curve mag. I'm going to use the 11. I believe it's an 11. Yep, it's an 11. Going in with the solid black again. Small circular motions. I'm using the shader actually on this. Just going to swap to the packer. Same needle. Take that out the shader. Just going to see how well this packs. What's the difference? Yeah. Yeah, way better. Just quickly go over this part. It's already been opened, so much more. There you go. Packing and lining, I'm going to call this video. Packing and lining. Hopefully you've got some tips from this video to go away and try for yourself. Again, when using a mag, just make sure you've got the needle turned the way you want it to be turned. Yeah, this is crazy. Like this, you can't pack it in with this because obviously it's a straight on a curved. So I'll turn it to the side and go like this. You know what I mean? Way more control. Instead of constantly turning the machine around, the needle. Up to the lines. It's looking badass at the minute. This alien. This alien is looking badass. I'll just do another couple lines like that. So that is that. What I'm going to do actually is just go in with a thinner needle. Make sure you keep all your needles nice and clean. Actually, I'm not going to go in with the thinner needle. I'm going to go in with I'm just going to wash it out and use a lighter tone here. Just going to do this line down this side. Same on this side. Hell yeah, that's clean. Right, yeah, we'll just do this tiny part round here as well. It's almost neo-traditional, this, at the minute, because of the lines. But there will be shading in this, so it will make it look way more realistic soon. And we'll start to get the light tones in and stuff like that. Just going over the outsider, just making sure that there's no light parts. It's all very nice and consistent. Consistency, consistency, consistency. And we'll give it a wipe down, like so. Don't have to worry about the stencil because it is absolutely not budging whatsoever. Let's use a clean one. Absolutely whatsoever. What I'm going to do actually is just do the rest of the tattoos on the face. May as well just call this lining and packing, you know. I'm going to use a thinner needle though for this part. That part, that part, that part, that part. 7 round liner for this. Again, solid black still. I'm going to do this mothership part. Spin it around like that. This is a bit of script. Go in, find your depth, move, consistent. Go in, find your depth, move, consistent. Just going to be putting some stuff down. Just going to make sure this is super clear, this part. Move the machine a tiny bit quicker now. It's going in a lot easier. Hell of a lot easier now. This it's gone out the way. Tissue. Mothership. Bad stencil over here. It's a bit too light, really. A bit too dark. When it's stenciled on, it's just smudged a tiny bit, so. Just making it super hard. Try and make it as best as we can. It's all going to be filled in anyway. Another ship. Yeah. Give that a wipe down, make sure it's is what it is. I'll take that. I'll take that. Another ship. We've got the triple O, which is an alien government number. We'll do this here. I'll line this. A bit too deep there. You heard that. Going where I have got an inside that has little dips in it as well. It's like a granite worktop, so some parts will be deeper than others. Again, there it must be a little thing. There must be a little bulge in the worktop that I keep going over, hitting. Just pull out though as I'm around this part. There we go. Yeah, it's a hell of a lot better to line with, guys. 100%. I'm just going to switch to the same needle I used. I think it was a 9 for this tattoo up here. Oh, just tattooed the the fairy washing up liquid. Again, I'm using solid black. It's going in super nice now. Speeding my hand up just a bit, but still keeping it nice and consistent with the speed. As long as the ink's going in nice, that's all good. There we go. Might be a bit longer than an hour now, guys, but all in the name of tattooing. Just want to finish one part off, you know. I wouldn't be doing it this way if the stencil wasn't very good. I'd be working my way up, shading as I went as well. So just bear that in mind. Just bear that in mind. Yes, just rip that up, rip that part up, which is fucking annoying. Didn't even go that deep either. Might have just wiped it and opened it up a bit. It's all good. It's just what working with silicon's about, you know. Again, as I'm coming to the end, I'm just flicking those bits out to get a sharper point. Flick. 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 Just try not to rub it too much because you will break the silicone. Flick. Flick. Don't like the sound of it. Flick. Right, I'm going to go again in with a lighter tone and just start doing this line down here as well, the edge of the alien's head. So we'll have a dark background to this, so it doesn't really matter. So I can get this in. Find your depth nice and consistent. It does help if you've got a nice consistent worktop, so you're not catching the bulgy bits. I'm just having to just pull out a tiny bit, really. That's what she said. But as long as it's in, I don't care. Spin around. I think this is actually a shader. No, I'm not too sure. Very similar. It looks like it's a shader on the end, but I'm not sure. It's either a 7 round shader or it's the 9. Going again with the ink. Like that. It's a light ink this is, but it does look quite dark in here, but it's what it is. Right, I'm going to outline Out of This World now. It's looking cool actually. Yeah, I'm gonna use this actually to outline this. Am I? Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will. We'll use solid black. Here we go. Again, same principle applies. How we've been doing the last hour or so. Just making this a bit more consistent down there. Cool, let's do it. Find your depth, move. Try not to go too deep. Find your depth, move. Nice consistent speed. And that is the actual out. That name of the game when it comes to lining. I'm just going to slow my hand speed a bit now because I'm just pulling the needle out. So just want to pack it in a bit more. Like that. Oh, that's a good line. That's a good line. One thing about longer strokes as well is you don't have to dip as much as a shorter stroke. A couple of little drips as well on here. Starting to get in the hang of things now, into the flow. Found our depth, we found the speed. Going a bit faster as well will make, as long as you've got the right depth, going a bit faster will make it a bit easier to just take that natural hand wobble you have out of your work. World. Out of this world. Find your depth and move. I'm tapping it because if you do this, you're going to open it up like I did over here, wherever it is here. If you keep rubbing it like to the side where you've lined it, it will just split open. Unless you use some fairy liquid to rub it off. A bit more lubed up, less tension on the world. Right, let's do outer first and then we'll do this. Using a packer on this skin's probably smashing it as well, so you just really want to be careful if you are using a high stroke machine, because it does hit quite hard. It will easily rip skin like this. This is the best fake skin you can get as well. It's on the market, best fake skin on the market, so you can, it's quite tough. You can give it some abuse, but still be careful, you know. It's looking good though. I'm liking this. Nice, solid, clean lines. Nice, consistent lines. Oh. Cool. Put back in, then we'll start to fill this part out as well. Ooh. Don't like that sound. I do not like that sound. As soon as you feel that, as long as you don't carry on going, you won't split it. If you go a bit too deep, just pull straight back up. You won't split it. Cool. Right, I'm just going to swap to a thinner needle now, but be very careful. So this is a 7 round liner. Put some ink down just to stop the pooling issue that I've got. Just keeps the ink in a bit more. See where you're going. Nice. Cool. Right, I'm just going to actually fill this in with this needle. Because it's very tight in here. That's what she said as well. Enough of the jokes. Enough of the jokes, Ollie. Can't wait to start shading this. It's going to look really cool, man. Really cool. Right, cool. Now what I'm going to do is switch to the, I'm going to switch to a 9, sorry. Start filling it in. Small circular motions, just moving slowly up. Slow this hand speed down a bit. Smashing this in now. Might keep the mothership like that, to be fair. Looks quite cool with a little bit of a gap between. Spin your needle round, make sure you're hitting the parts. I'll zoom out in a minute, guys. I have just used solid black in this, to be fair, but it gives my ink set up for what I'm going to be doing in part 2. So if you do want to see part 2, then let me know. That'll be the shading and making it come to life. Might just do that in one long video. One long. But it is looking quite cool from where I'm sat. Nice and consistent as well with this. I do like this machine though, the Packer. It's a very good machine. Definitely packs in colour like nothing. With ease. Slow my hand speed down, staying conscious of my hand speed. Slowly coming down with the black. Out of this world. Right, yeah, let's carry on. Staying conscious of the needle. Needle placement, the angle of the needle. doing a feathered layer over the top just to make sure it's all nice and consistent. Right, we'll just do outer now, and then we'll step back and have a look. Excuse me. Just spin it around for you guys. You'll know if you're staying at the same depth, because you will hear that when you go through the skin. Even the top artist will. As long as you're nice and consistent now throughout the whole tattoo, then it should turn out really, really, really clean. And this is a good way of building your hand strength up as well, to take on actual human skin, you know. All I'm thinking about is Ukraine, man. Wondering what's happening. Hoping they're keeping the Russians out. Russian military, not all Russians are bad. Right, anyway. Very close now. Half this U left. Gives my fingers a break as well. They're starting to waken up. My wrist. Cheers for watching. If those of you that have stayed all the way to the end, thank you very much. Please subscribe, please like if you are new. Please like the video. I'm trying to get 1,000 likes on this to release this stencil for you guys. I'm just going to give it one good wipe now, all over. And then you can see where we're up to. This stencil is absolutely solid. Absolutely staying on there. Do not have to worry one bit about this, which is really, really nice. That is not coming off whatsoever. So this will have to be a bleach jobby. And this is what it looks like so far. That's so solid. I like it. I really, really like it. Right. I'll just let you know what's going on, what the situation is. But at the end of part 1, spin that round like that. And this is what it looks like at the end of part 1, guys. Spin that out of the way. See, tattoos are on there now, ready to go. I've left this part open because there's a ridge in his neck, so that will be shaded up too. So this part here, I think, is like a white light part, so that's why it's not closed. But yeah, you can see that now. Super clean, super nice, super packed in, ready to go. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. This is going to be a really cool one to finish. Next part will be the shading and making sure this is all nice, and then part 3 will probably be the background and stenciling things, and then I'll probably put a couple UFOs or galaxies or something in the end, in the background, sorry. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Please like, please subscribe. Trying to get 1,000 likes on this to release this stencil for you guys to use wherever really. And yeah, tune into part 2. Appreciate you guys. Take care.